Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir. This is your digital classroom, and today we are here with an extremely important video ahead of your English language paper in the ICSE Class 10 board examinations of 2023 on the 27th of February, right? So what we will do today in this video is that मैं आपको इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज पेपर में क्या स्ट्रैटेजी होनी चाहिए, क्या टाइम मैनेजमेंट होना चाहिए, किस तरह का आपका प्रिपरेशन होना चाहिए, अभी बाकी में कितने भी दिन बाकी हैं, एंड व्हाइल यू आर अटेम्प्टिंग द पेपर व्हाट शुड बी योर थॉट प्रोसेस, व्हाट यू शुड डू एंड नॉट डू, द मिस्टेक्स टू अवॉइड, एवरीथिंग. So for success in the English language paper, this is a video you should definitely watch till the end and not miss. Okay, so before we start, there's a whole lot of content which has been put out here, especially relating to English language. Prepositions के videos हैं, transformation के videos हैं, synthesis का video डाला जाएगा, tenses के video हैं, पहले भी डाले गए थे, अब भी डाले गए हैं. So you can make use of all of them in order to practice. Apart from that, you have the English language test series and test series of 7 other subjects, right? Which are extremely comprehensive. तो उस पर ध्यान दीजिए ताकि आप अपनी प्रिपरेशन को टेस्ट कर सकें. Some students have been asking me कि सिर्फ टेस्ट पेपर्स करने से तैयारी हो जाएगी क्या? Test papers, please understand, my dear children, are to test your preparation, whether you have retained what you have studied, whether you have understood what you have studied, or what you think you have understood. उसको टेस्ट करने के लिए क्वालिटी टेस्ट पेपर्स हैं, right? That is what the test papers are meant for, right? They cannot ever be a substitute. No test paper in the world can be a substitute for preparation. Preparation के लिए we have the proper courses where you prepare for a particular examination, be it English literature or history civics or mathematics, biology, chemistry or physics or history civics or geography, right? But test papers are an effective way. So उसमें भी trick रहता है कि आप कौन से test papers को निकालें. Many test papers which you find around are generally compilation of PYQs, right? They are not original. और यहां से या वहां से निकाल के उसको टेस्ट पेपर्स का नाम दे देते हैं. Our idea is to create as much original material as possible, while also looking at what kind of, whether there are any kind of googly questions which have been asked in any of the pre-board examination marks. So you kind of keep your eyes and ears open while you actually create these test papers, just to give you an idea. And our faculty has years of experience, years and years of experience of how does a typical ICSE examination paper looks like, and usko dhyan mein rakh ke frame kiya jata hai, right? And I'm talking about different subjects. Okay, so let's get started. So what I will do is, for reference, I will keep the specimen question paper of English language. Also, before I go, I want to actually highlight, please do have a look at this topper talk that I have been putting out with Vedanti, who was our All India rank 5 last year, with Arya, who was our student in 2020. He's now pursuing medicine, or with Anushka, again from the 2022 batch, got 98.6, was a school topper and scored very high marks in each one of her individual papers. Like English language जिसके हम बात कर रहे हैं, she got 39 out of 40, right? And there is one more coming up with Shreya also. So what I'm saying is, please listen to this topper talk because they contain practical tips, because all of them were in your shoes last year, or in the case of Arya in 2020. So they know exactly what it takes in order to excel, right? And that's very important. That's very important. Okay, so let's get started with the specimen paper. Time management में मैं लास्ट में बताऊंगा. So ये तो हो गया 80 मार्क का पेपर, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock on the 27th of February, right? February से एक बात ध्यान में आई, मैं लेटर के टाइम पे बताऊंगा. Okay, टाइम मैनेजमेंट हम बाद में करेंगे. Now, as far as your essays are concerned, what should be the strategy? आप कौन सा essay चूज करें, या उस समय पे जो भी टॉपिक अच्छा लगे उसको चूज करेंगे, या पहले से ही प्रिपेयर करेंगे? What I tell my students always is that you should prepare beforehand. You should have your plan A, right, well prepared, and have an idea about plan B. By chance you get a googly question in plan A, at least you have something to fall back on. But agar plan A ko अच्छी तरह से implement किया है, then you are absolutely fine. There is really nothing much to worry, right? Now, as far as an original story is concerned, उसमें टाइटल दिया होता है, या ओपनिंग सेंटेंस दिया होता है, या एंडिंग सेंटेंस दिया होता है, या देयर कैन बी अ फोर्थ टाइप where you can say that these are the three main characters or these are the two main characters. उसके अराउंड आप एक स्टोरी बनाइए. इसमें दो बातों का ध्यान रखना बहुत जरूरी है. प्लीज लिसन टू दिस. ओके, वन, if it is say in this case lost and found, your lost part should come very early in the story. पहले पैराग्राफ से ही पता चलना चाहिए, या दूसरे पैराग्राफ के बिल्कुल शुरू में पता चल जाना चाहिए कि हां कुछ चीज खो गई है. You get into the story immediately, and the entire story has to be about the whole kashmakash of finding that particular thing which has been lost, and then you find the thing at the end of the story, and that's how you relate it. Always remember, you need to keep relating it to the title. Also, if they are giving you an opening sentence first, right? Opening sentence देने का एक मतलब होता है. There is a reason why a particular opening sentence has been given, so that you realize that उसमें से जो important word है. For example, let me give. There were one day he found a lot of stones in his backyard. Right now, in his garden, let's say. One day तो हो गया. Stones, garden. Stones, garden. These are important keywords. So your entire story has to necessarily revolve around the stones and the garden. And of course, he, the protagonist, right? तो उसको लेकर आप स्टोरी बनाइए. इसमें आपका खुद का एक कैरेक्टर होना जरूरी नहीं है. You don't have to necessarily make yourself a character in that particular story, unless the title says so, or unless you can come up with something very interesting. I'm not saying do not do that at all, but it's not compulsory that you necessarily make yourself a character in that original story. It can be a third person narrative. Perfectly all right. But that thing has to be very clear that if these are the main two words which you understand, the story has to revolve around them. Stones in the backyard. He thought it will be all rubbish. He was wondering where it is, and then he wondered whether there was some kind of a meteor shower, and he wondered whether he has been watching too much of National Geographic or those kind of channels, and whether it's all a figment of his imagination, whether some kind of meteor shower had happened and dumped all those stones in his backyard, because they were black in color, they were gray in color. You can describe the stones and create a bit of a suspense. And then later on you find the next day again there are some fresh stones, and you wonder who is dumping all these stones, obviously. And then one night he decides to stay awake and keep a watch, and that's when he found that there was this one particular gentleman who was coming and dumping stones into his backyard, in his backyard, because that was the gravel from a neighboring quarry or whatever, right? You can create that thing and make a story around that. दूसरी बात हमेशा ध्यान रखना, ओरिजिनल स्टोरी ओरिजिनल होनी चाहिए. इधर उधर से कॉपी करके स्टोरी को मत लिखो. ओके, कहीं से भी डू नॉट थिंक कि मैंने ये स्टोरी पढ़ी थी. इफ यू आर इंस्पायर्ड बाय सम स्टोरी, प्लीज मेक श्योर यू आर चेंजिंग द कैरेक्टर्स, changing the basic template of the story. Do not just copy the same story, because it's quite possible the examiner ने भी वही story पढ़ी होगी, या वही टीवी सीरियल या वही OTT का फिल्म या वेब सीरीज देखा होगा. तो don't be a straight, don't do plagiarism. You can be inspired, but make sure you change the basic contours of the story. This is very important when it comes to an original story. Second one, imagine a situation where your mother has been unwell and you had to help her. Explain what you did to help. What did you learn from the experience? Now, what would you do in this kind of a narrative essay, right? This is a narrative essay. Now, here the main thing is there are two characters, you and your mother. So this is a first person account, right? Unwell is a major keyword. She is not well. So what should be conveyed? A sense of empathy, a sense of support, a sense of love and affection, right? Those elements, those emotions have to come through in what you write. Okay, so And then it says, and you had to help her. Explain what you did to help. So that entire thing has to come through while keeping your mother at the center of the thing. Oh, she was worried. Oh, you are cleaning the kitchen. Will you be able to do a good job? She came there, but I told her that you're running 102 fever. Please do not get out of bed. And you ensured that she stayed in bed while you cleaned the kitchen, right? With no one to help you, right? And you felt very proud, and your mother was also very emotional. She felt extremely delighted that, मेरा बच्चा या मेरी बच्ची actually बड़ी हो गई है या बड़ा हो गया है, that he or she is able to do things on his own in order to, so it kind of strengthened my bond, it kind of made her feel better, and I also felt very good having helped my mother out while she was not well. So what did you learn from the experience? That has to come towards the end. Always remember, इसमें एक बड़ा सा intro paragraph मत देना जिसका कि इस story के साथ connection ना हो. Always get into the topic straight. You have only 350 words to play with. Word limit se yaad aaya, if you write 350 ka 360, it may be acceptable. But if you exceed 375 and all that, you may get penalized. So do that. And never be shorter than 300. Agar 280 words likhoge, to again you will be penalized. In fact, much more than if you exceed the word limit, right? So 300 to 350 ke range mein hamesha rehna zaruri hai. Democracy cannot survive without education. Express your views either for or against this statement. Now, democracy, education. These are the two important keywords out here, right? So, you need to start with an intro. Your points, there are some students who make an omelette of all the 4 points or 5 points and put it in the intro. No, your intro has to establish what the topic is talking about. You can say democracy is known as of the people, for the people, and by the people. And I do believe that for a democratic country, you do need an education, and this is my stand. State your stand in the first paragraph in clear words. 1. In the last paragraph, repeat your stand. Of course, usi ka Xerox copy mat dal dena. Change the language and again end with saying that these were the reasons for which I took this particular position. You stick to one stand. You say democracy cannot survive or can survive. Cannot survive के 2 points और can survive के 2 points लिखोगे तो आपको वो एक साइड के 2 points के marks नहीं मिलेंगे. However convincing those points may be. You have to be either this side, you have to be either this side. You have to be either wearing a black shirt like a black shirt or wear like a white shirt. Red shirt or blue shirt. You cannot be on both sides of the fence. You cannot sit on the fence either. So that's one thing. Be very clear. 4 points, ideal. That should be more than enough. Each point, put it in separate paragraphs, right? For clarity. Ek itna bada paragraph ek page pe likhoge, to a mass of words can kind of hurt. So divide it so that it's also clear to the examiner what you're talking about. Descriptive essay. You're a regular traveler in your school bus. Describe what you see on your way home from school. So we are talking of what time? We are talking of afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock kind of time, right? Give details of the familiar sights and sounds you experience each day. Descriptive essay, most important part, 5 senses. What you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you smell, and what you touch. All these 5 senses should be part of your descriptive essay. And descriptive essay may again try to ensure that you do not repeat your words. Don't keep saying, oh, I was very excited. I was very excited. I was very excited. There was a lot of excitement. No, you try to use synonyms. You try to convey different emotions through the descriptive essay. So that is something. So you need to get in elements, right? You need to get in elements as a result of which you are able to talk of the 5 senses. For instance, what you ate, on the way, or what you smelled, the fresh jasmine flowers which were being sold, or some chaat bhandar, you could smell the stuff being made, while you were traveling back on the bus, right? The sense of touch, you held on to the railing, the iron railing, because the journey was very rough through the potholes, right? So there are different ways in which you can weave in these 5 senses. That's what is important. I hope yahan tak samajh mein aa gaya. The final thing is the picture composition, which generally is my favorite. Okay, study the picture given below, write a story or a description or an account of what is suggested to you. Your composition may be about the subject of the picture or you may take suggestions from it. However, there must be a clear connection between the picture and your composition. For reasons known best to them, many school teachers say कि picture composition को attempt मत करो. I personally think picture composition is the best because you already have a framework to go by, right? इसको interpret करना है. Now इन 7 बच्चों के ऊपर आप एक कहानी लिख सकते हैं या आप एक रिपोर्ट लिख सकते हैं. Usually children के around ही picture compositions आती हैं. Okay. Now this can be about the midday meal scheme in any of the schools, right? So you can say that while eating in these kind of, leaves plates is good, but to kind of eat on the floor kind of shows the kind of lack of amenities, the lack of facilities at this particular school. Or you can construct a story, that Raghav and Balram are good friends. They come to school every day, not so much for the classes because there is just one volunteer who kind of doubles up as a teacher, right? So obviously there are no specialized teachers for mathematics, for the languages, for geography, for history, or for biology. There are no specific teachers, but one teacher who is an all-rounder and tries to teach everyone, and obviously he cannot do a good job if obviously one teacher cannot be teaching all the subjects equally well. So there are no specialists out there, right? But he comes to school every day only so that he can get his midday meal, right? Because that's the only nutrition he gets. But over the past few weeks, the quality of the meal has been going down. They no longer get served a banana. They no longer get served an egg, which is all supposed to be part of the menu, right? So you can construct an entire story around it, right? An emotional story. Or if you have prepared data on education, right? School education in rural areas, और आपको थोड़ा डेटा पॉइंट्स याद है कि this many percentage students are out of school, okay, in India, right? And they no longer attend school, right? You can write a report around it. The choice is yours, right? But picture composition को इस तरह से करना. Picture composition में ये नहीं लिखना कि this there is a boy sitting wearing a red sweater, there is a girl wearing a blue top, right? There is another child who is wearing a pink shirt. उस तरह का natural description of what can be seen need not be given in your picture composition, and there always has to be a clear connection between the picture and what you write. That connection has to be there. ये नहीं कि picture कुछ और है, आप दूसरी कहानी लिख रहे हैं. Okay, so this is as far as the essays are concerned. Let's come to the letter writing. Your friend has been unwell. This is the informal letter and unable to attend school for 2 weeks. An inter-school drama competition took place during this period. Write a letter to your friend telling him or her about the event and your role in it. So, इसमें जब आप देखें your role in it, what you have to tell and क्या हुआ है unwell. Unwell means आपके letter में there has to be a sense of empathy and sense of inquiry कि I hope you are now better, and then come to the point कि ये inter-school drama competition हुआ, right? And what did you do, your role in it, and what was the event like, and last member that you were really missed because your presence would have really enlivened the entire competition proceeding. So you talk about it. Informal letter में that sense of affection has to come through, whether you're writing to your mother, whether you're writing to your father, whether you're writing to your brother, sister, sibling, or to a dear friend or cousin. This is again to the principal. Break time pretty simple, 15 minutes है, उसको extension करना है तो आधा घंटा. You need to introduce the problem in the first paragraph, give 2 reasons why you are saying that it should be extended to half an hour, and you can talk about how it would benefit the students, the suggestions, how it would make a difference to you as a student. So इसमें very clearly बताया गया कि आपको क्या लिखना है. Give reasons, give 2 reasons, and this may give 2 reasons, in what way it would help, and then you close the letter. ICSE फॉर्मेट में सब्जेक्ट लिखने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. ओके, फरवरी जब आप लिखें, मैंने जो बताया शुरू में, स्पेलिंग ऑफ फरवरी मिस्टेक मत कीजिए. काफी बच्चे करते हैं, FEBRARY लिख देते हैं, राइट? सो प्लीज बी केयरफुल अबाउट दीज थिंग्स. पिन कोड लिखना जरूरी है, राइट? सो जस्ट टेक केयर ऑफ दिस स्मॉल डिटेल्स व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग a letter. Notice email is pretty simple. Take care of the creative title, inter-school music competition. You can say musical superstars, right? Or you can say Yeah, musical superstars would be something ideal for this. Do not write things like sa re ga ma because that would be seen as a vernacular word. Ideally speaking, though technically आज की दुनिया में music is universal, right? But try to avoid any vernacular words. Hindi or Bengali or Tamil or Marathi, do not use any vernacular words in your creative title, right? Then you have to write an email. Do not make a mistake with the email ID. Those small things carry marks. So do not kind of make a mistake, and the tone has to be extremely formal, giving the details. Your notice line should not be more than 1.5 lines. That's all the information that is required. The venue, the time, the date, those kind of details have to be necessarily there. You guys are very paranoid and obsessed with boxes. बॉक्स बनाना है तो बनाओ, नहीं बनाना है तो नहीं बनाओ. नोटिस के लिए बना सकते हो, ईमेल के लिए जरूरी नहीं है. ओके, बॉक्स बनाओगे तो भी मार्क्स एक्स्ट्रा नहीं मिलेंगे, बॉक्स नहीं बनाओगे तो भी मार्क्स नहीं कटेंगे. सो लेट्स बी very clear about these kind of things. These are small things and these are not what carries marks. What carries marks is your content, how you express, your grammatical sense, your punctuation. Those are the kind of things that carry marks, right? Not whether you have made a box pencil se banana hai ya pen se banana hai, right? Don't be obsessed over things which actually don't matter in the overall scheme of things. Comprehension, read the passage at least 3 to 4 times. That's very important. If you do not understand a particular word, उस sentence को 4 बारी पढ़ो, you will be able to come to a conclusion as to what it actually means. This is a pretty short kind of passage by Anita Desai. Distraction, distraction, something that stops you from thinking about something else, something that helps you to think about something else, something that right? Something that stops you from thinking about something else. Distraction. Frail, weak, right? I mean, these are simple words which you should be able to understand. Dense, very thick. ये तो geography में भी पढ़ा है, right? उसके बाद comprehension. As far as summary is concerned, another matter of paranoia for many students. Please answer the question. Please answer. इसमें क्या? In not more than 50 words. इसको छोड़ दो. Describe how the arrival of the De Silvas changed life for the family in the little hut, right? तो इस क्वेश्चन को आप आंसर कीजिए. आंसर द क्वेश्चन इन द रफ ग्रिड, राइट? डोंट एट दैट टाइम थिंक कि मेरे को 50 वर्ड में लिखना है, बट आंसर कीजिए ताकि जब आप आंसर करें उस पैसेज में से अपने वर्ड्स में लिखना है, लेकिन जो की वर्ड्स है उसको इस्तेमाल करते हुए ही लिखना है. आई रिपीट, इंक्लूड द की वर्ड्स but write the overall thing in your own language. So only the keywords are important. So if you have included the keywords in your, and suppose you the rough grid banaya, it comes to say 57 words, right? Uske baad you can try to make out how to fit it in 50 words. Do not make it 49, do not make it 51. 50 words means 50 words, right? And it's possible. Hyphenated words try and avoid, but generally agar hyphenated word hai as a keyword, it will be in one box, right? So try to work out on the language to see that अगर ये 3 वर्ड है इसको मैं एक वर्ड में मैं डिस्क्राइब कर सकता हूं, तो how do I do that, right? That comes with practice and that's something which you should do between now and the 27th. Now let's move to the grammar part. Okay, pretty simple. This entire thing is in the past tense, right? This entire thing is in the past tense. I pulled up into the driveway. Pulled up का मतलब that is I went and stopped the car, right? Pull up and pull over जो ICSE class 12 में इस साल आया है. Pull over is in the context generally of a traffic policeman, that I asked the car to pull over on the national highway, right? So I pulled up into the driveway, that is driveway में जाके अपनी गाड़ी रोकी. Observe, क्या करने के लिए? To observe the way they had built up the balcony, right? I had forgotten, मैं भूल चुका था that the bricks of the house were chocolate brown. ये अपने पुराने घर में गया है, right? That the books that I had forgotten that the bricks of the house were chocolate brown. The new people had made the tiny balcony into a study room, right? I stared at this house remembering my childhood there. मैं उस समय अपने childhood की मेरे को याद कर रहा था. So this is pretty much in the past tense, except this to thing which is in a different kind of a verb, but otherwise largely in past tense. इसमें आपको slowed दिखा है तो आप you will get an idea about what exactly the tone of the paragraph is. So always look at the first word and उससे आपको एक idea मिल जाएगा कि what is the tone of the entire passage, right? Let's move to the prepositions. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate words. Please wash off the curry stain from your dress. She turned down the offer to work at the factory. Turn down का मतलब है, should I write it down? Turn down. Any doubt? Please look at the 3 videos on the Naatu-Naatu series which I have put on prepositions. If you look at our test series, there are 4 folders, 4 tests, some of them containing 65, one of them containing 75 prepositions एक ही में with the answer की, तो आपके काफी practice हो जाएगी. So that is something which I would strongly suggest. So she turned down the offer. Turn down मतलब नकार दिया. She decided not. She said no, I will not work at the factory. The burglars broke dashed the house when the family was away. Right? क्या मतलब हो सकता है? Broke का मतलब तोड़ा. Right? तोड़ा. तोड़ दिया. Will anybody break the house while the family was away? Does it sound logical that someone broke down the house? No. Broke into conveys that burglars ने वहां पर चोरी की. So they broke into the house when the family was away. I shall compete. I shall compete with him. She agreed dash my proposal. उसने मेरे proposal को माना. So she agreed to my proposal, not with my proposal. Okay. She would like to come dash foot. How do you do? ये जितने भी body parts के हैं या general transportation के हैं, जितने भी prepositions हैं, उन सबको याद रखिए कि किसमें on होता है, किसमें in होता है, किसमें by होता है, किस केस में by होता है, उस सब बातों को आप ध्यान में रखिए. That is something very important. The Vishwas group of companies has taken dash the cosmetic market completely. The Vishwas group of companies ने take over किया है, यानी कि cosmetic industry जो भी है उसमें पूरा दबदबा विश्वास group of companies का है. So they have taken over the entire cosmetic industry. He agreed to carry dash the manager's orders. Right? There are phrasal verbs के 6 videos हैं YouTube channel पे. You can have a look at it. I started doing a phrasal verb का series also. 2 videos डाले हैं. You can have a look at उसमें run और 1-2 words के और हैं, मुझे याद नहीं है. Okay, so you can have a look at it. So this will be as far as the prepositions are concerned. In prepositions में से at least 2 या 3 phrasal verbs के रूप में आते हैं. So they may not be straight away fixed prepositions, but they may also be phrasal verbs which could be asked in the examination. Okay, so let's now move to synthesis. Join the sentences. Okay, without using and, but, or so. The delegates arrived. The meeting started immediately. No sooner did the delegates arrive than the meeting started. Right? No sooner did the delegates arrive, the meeting started. इसमें than नहीं है, so this is not right. No sooner the delegates arrived than the meeting started. Right? The delegates arriving the meeting. So ये B और D तो straight away गलत है. A और C में कौन सा है? No sooner did the delegates arrive than the meeting started. या no sooner the delegates arrived than the meeting started. Right? So जब यहां पर did का है, so it will be arrive. So A is the correct one. अगर had होता, no sooner had the delegates arrived than the meeting started. Okay. And another thing which you keep in mind is that अगर immediately, और ये मैंने ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की जो 3 वीडियोस डाले हैं YouTube पे नाटू-नाटू सीरीज में, उसमें भी मैंने ये बताया है कि immediately का सेंस ऑलरेडी ये नो सूनर से कन्वे होता है, तो आपको इमीडिएटली को अलग से लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. सो अगर किसी ऐसे ऑप्शन में से सेम फर्स्ट ऑप्शन में नीचे स्टार्टेड इमीडिएटली होता तो वो इमीडिएटली वाला ऑप्शन करेक्ट नहीं होता. ओके. We lost our ticket, we lost our luggage. Now in these kind of cases always remember कि क्या ये इससे फॉलो हो रहा है या दोनों इंडिपेंडेंट है. इस केस में दोनों इंडिपेंडेंट है. We lost our ticket, we also lost our luggage. टिकट भी खो दिया, लगेज भी खो दिया. राइट? सो कई बार ऐसा हो सकता है, इट वॉज रेनिंग, वी डिसाइडेड टू कैंसिल आवर ट्रिप. तो बिकॉज इट वॉज रेनिंग वी कैंसल्ड आवर ट्रिप. तो उसमें इट इज अ केस ऑफ समथिंग हैपनिंग इन ए एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ विच बी हैपेंस. बट इन दिस केस द टू आर इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ ईच अदर. सो इस बात को ध्यान में रखिए. whenever you get sentences like this, always see whether one is a result of the other or the two are independent of each other. We lose our ticket as well as our luggage. Lose to nahi ho sakta because here it is in past tense, so A is ruled out. Having lost our ticket, we lost our luggage. अगर ये result के रूप में होता, then this would have been okay with a comma in between, right? So having lost our ticket, we lost our luggage, right? So agar ye hota, we lost our ticket, we could not go on the trip. Having lost our ticket, we could not go on the trip. That would have been fine. But yahan par wo nahi hai because this is not a result of the two. Ticket और luggage का कोई संबंध नहीं है. We lost our ticket as well as our luggage, right? We lost our ticket and we lost our luggage. So and का तो use ही नहीं करना, and but or so. So option 3 is the right one. Elimination process से choose कीजिए, आपको आसानी होगी. That's the way to do it. Okay. He cultivates orchids. He displays them at the flower show, right? He cultivates orchids to display at the flower show. He cultivates orchids for display. Displayed तो नहीं होगा, right? It's tense ही गलत हो गया है. He cultivates orchids to play with at the flower show. ये तो sense ही नहीं है. He cultivates orchids but displays them only at the flower show, right? ये but का क्यों sense है? So option A is the correct one, that he cultivates these flowers to display them at the flower show. He ran away. He had seen the principal coming. No sooner did he see the principal coming, he ran away. No, हमको मालूम है कि no sooner के साथ इसका इस्तेमाल होता है than का. When नहीं लगाना, then नहीं लगाना, than का इस्तेमाल होता है. He ran to see the principal coming. Again no. By seeing the principal coming, he ran away. No. Seeing the principal coming, he ran away. कि principal का आता है. So यहाँ पर देखेंगे आप, ये action और reaction का है. ये रिएक्शन है, ये एक्शन है कि उसने पहले देखा दूर से कि प्रिंसिपल आ रहे हैं और इसलिए वो भाग गया. सो इसमें देन यू विल यूज द आईएनजी फॉर्म. सीइंग द प्रिंसिपल कमिंग, ही रैन अवे. सो ऑप्शन 4. Let's now come to the final part, which is the transformation of sentences. The captain said, "It gives me great pleasure to be here this evening." The captain, you have to start with captain, basically make it into reported speech. The captain said that it was giving him great pleasure to be there that evening. No, because give का reported speech में क्या होगा? It will go into past tense. So first one obviously is wrong. The captain said that it gives me great pleasure to be there this evening. No, because again यहाँ पे gives है. The captain said that it gave him great pleasure to be here this evening. Sounds correct? Is there a catch here? Yes, the catch is that here turns into there in indirect speech. So the captain said that it gave him great pleasure to be there that evening. Here will become there and this will become that, right? This will become that, here will become there in reported speech. These rules आपको, मैं hope करता हूं ये सब rules आपको मालूम है. Okay? Unless the train arrives on time, we shall miss the concert. Okay, इसके options कौन से होंगे? If the train arrives on time, we shall miss the concert. Now, unless से क्या मतलब होता है? Unless conveys a sense of the negative. Unless conveys a sense of the negative. So this will not be the case. This will not be the case. D देखते हैं. If the train does not arrive on time, we shall not miss the concert. No, he's saying that अगर train time पर नहीं आई तो हम concert miss कर देंगे. So if the train does not arrive on time, we shall miss the concert. So unless होगा तो नेगेटिव का सेंस कन्वे होना चाहिए. इस बात का ध्यान हमेशा रखिए. He has applied many times. He has never been selected. यानी कि कई बार अप्लाई किया है लेकिन उसका सिलेक्शन कभी नहीं हुआ है. In spite के साथ हमेशा of का इस्तेमाल होता है. In spite will be 2 words. Okay. हालांकि मेनी बुक्स वगैरह में मैं देखता हूं कि वो in spite को एक वर्ड की तरह ही लिख देते हैं. बट essentially in spite, despite is 1 word. In spite of. So जहां पर भी ऑफ नहीं हो उसको तो आप पहले से कट कर लीजिए. ये कट कर दीजिए, ये कट कर दीजिए. सो द चॉइस इज बिटवीन A and C. In spite of applying many times, he had never been selected. In spite of applying many times, he has never been selected. Has है. Option number 3, C. 4th one. Very few managers are as honest as James. Okay. James is more honest than other managers. कहने का मतलब यह है कि देयर आर फ्यू मैनेजर्स हु आर एज ऑनेस्ट एज जेम्स, लेकिन ज्यादातर मैनेजर्स आर नॉट एज ऑनेस्ट एज जेम्स. दैट इज व्हाट इज द सेंस ऑफ द सेंटेंस दैट इज बीइंग कन्वेड. और आपको मैनेजर्स के साथ सेंटेंस को एंड करना है. सो जेम्स इज मोर ऑनेस्ट देन अदर मैनेजर्स, राइट. ये एक तरह से तो ठीक है, बट दैट्स नॉट द एंटायर ट्रुथ. जेम्स इज मोर ऑनेस्ट देन मोस्ट अदर मैनेजर्स. या ये सही बात है. दैट इज व्हाट द. सो इस सेंटेंस का मतलब क्या है इसको समझ लीजिए, उसके बाद ऑप्शंस देखिए, आपको आसानी होगी इन ऑर्डर टू अंडरस्टैंड विच इज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन. जेम्स इज ऑनेस्ट देन मेनी अदर मैनेजर्स, ये ठीक होता, लेकिन यहां पर मोर नहीं है, राइट. James is most honest among other managers. So the correct option is fourth B. I accept your offer. Use acceptable. Your offer is acceptable to me. Your offer was acceptable to me. Your offer is acceptable. Your offer acceptable offer came to me. तो fourth वाला तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. The correct option is A. Your offer is acceptable to me. As soon as he finishes his work, he starts playing. Hardly he's finished his work. Hardly के साथ कौन सा इस्तेमाल होता है? When. Barely के साथ भी when. Hardly he finishes his work, he starts playing. ये दोनों नहीं है. Hardly he has finished his work and he starts playing. No. Hardly does he finish his work when he starts playing. ये comma की जरूरत actually नहीं है. You know. So this does not need the comma. But of the four options, the fourth one is the correct one. My father gave me a pen. A pen had been given to me by my father. Now you may get confused कि gave है तो ये had been तो नहीं होगा. No, a pen was given to me by my father. My father was gave me a pen. Wrong. A pen was given by me to my father. Wrong. So option B is the right one. I have never seen Mr. Joe lose his temper. Never I have seen. No. In when never के साथ use करेंगे, उसके साथ verb form will come with it. So it will be never have I seen Mr. Joe losing his temper, right? So that's what will be the correct option in this one. So with this we come to the end of this particular specimen paper. I hope you have understood how you should prepare and how you should attempt the paper. Final bar before we call it a day on this particular video, the time management. My personal opinion is that 15 minute में you decide what essay you will do. Think of the 4-5 points that you will cover. अगर narrative या descriptive करना है तो कौन कौन से elements को आप इसमें इस्तेमाल करेंगे, right? So you can talk about all those kind of, you can think about all that, or at least 8 minutes आप comprehension passage को at least 2 बार ही पढ़िए, समझ लीजिए कि क्या करना है, and at the stroke of 11 इमीडिएटली आप ऐसे के पॉइंट्स, बिकॉज पहले 15 मिनट में आपको लिखने की अनुमति नहीं दी जाएगी, यू विल नॉट बी अलाउड टू राइट. सो यू कैन स्क्रिबल डाउन द पॉइंट्स ऑन अ रफ पेज एट द एंड, द ऐसे पॉइंट्स, ताकि आप बाद में ना भूलें. ओके, आई ऑलवेज सजेस्ट दैट यू स्टार्ट विद द कॉम्प्रिहेंशन, बिकॉज कॉम्प्रिहेंशन को अगर आपने उन 8 मिनट में 8-9 मिनट में पढ़ा है, आपके दिमाग में है. whereas if you do it in the center of the examination and then start reading it fresh, you will actually be spending a lot of time, right? So my suggestion is that start with the comprehension. कॉम्प्रिहेंशन में एक बात का ध्यान रखिएगा, आपके उसमें जो पार्ट्स हैं 1 2 3 4 5, पहले समरी, फिर क्वेश्चन नंबर 2, फिर क्वेश्चन नंबर 4, उस तरह से मत कीजिए. उस ऑर्डर को प्रेफरेबली डू नॉट चेंज, फॉलो द सेम. ब्रॉडली यू कैन डू क्वेश्चन 2 देन 4 देन 5 देन 1 देन 3, वो ठीक है, बट द सब पार्ट्स में आप फेरबदल प्लीज मत कीजिए. सिमिलरली ग्रामर में टेंसेस, prepositions, phrasal verbs, synthesis and transformation, उसी ऑर्डर में जाइए. इफ यू फाइंड दैट यू आर नॉट एबल टू रिमेंबर समथिंग, लीव द स्पेस. उसमें ऑप्शन नंबर ए या ऑप्शन नंबर बी के साथ राइट आउट द एंटायर फॉर्म, ऑलवेज प्रेफरेबल, सो दैट आप prepositions में यू कैन जस्ट राइट व्हाट इज द फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स, टेंसेस में भी, लेकिन जो सिंथेसिस है एंड ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन में प्रेफरेबली राइट द एंटायर सेंटेंस एंड राइट इट करेक्टली. उस बात का भी ध्यान रखिए कि उसमें लिखने में कोई गलती ना करें. Now, comprehension में my suggestion is that you should be able to finish it off in 25 minutes. 25 मिनट में, 11 बजे आप शुरू करेंगे तो 11:25 तक आपका comprehension including the precis writing should get completed. Okay? उसके बाद go to grammar. I have allotted 15 minutes to grammar, but if you have already seen through the grammar in the first 15 minutes, you should be able to actually finish it off faster than 15 minutes. 15 मिनट रख लेते हैं, 15 मिनट रख लेते हैं. हो सकता है कि आपका कॉम्प्रिहेंशन में 26 मिनट लग जाए, 27 मिनट लग जाए, तो आप ग्रामर के साथ एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं. सो बाय 11:40 यू शुड बी थ्रू विद 20 plus 20 40 marks of your paper. Great. उसके बाद come to notice and email. Notice में should not take more than 7 minutes. Email should not take more than 30 minutes. Total 20 मिनट का टाइम अलॉट किया है मैंने. Okay, 20 minutes, which also I think is on the higher side, but 20 minutes max to notice and email. Letter writing 20 minutes. Formal और informal जो भी हो, 20 मिनट में आप लेटर को जरूर खत्म कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज लेटर राइटिंग डज नॉट हैव टू गो वेरी लॉन्ग. प्लीज डू नॉट थिंक इन टर्म्स ऑफ पेजेस, थिंक इन टर्म्स ऑफ फॉर्मल लेटर में इंट्रो पैराग्राफ, second paragraph with 2 problems, third paragraph with 2 suggestions, closing paragraph, and the endings, yours faithfully, etc., etc., right? So that's all you need to do. Finally come to the essay, in which you can devote up to 30 minutes. 30 मिनट, आधा घंटा में आप अच्छा essay जरूर लिख सकते हैं. If you have already decided what you are going to write, if you have already prepared many of the topics, अगर आपने वो सब किया है तो आप 30 मिनट्स में essay को अच्छी तरह से जरूर लिख सकते हैं. और उसके बाद 10 मिनट का बफर टाइम, रिवीजन टाइम. रिवीजन टाइम में ग्रामर को जरूर देख लीजिए, जरूर essay और लेटर वगैरह को भी आप पढ़ लीजिए, ताकि कोई स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक या ये ना हुई हो. लाइन वगैरह आप छोड़ सकते हैं. प्रेफरेबली स्टार्ट एवरी फ्रेश क्वेश्चन ऑन ए न्यू पेज, इट मेक्स इट इजी. ओके, and also if your handwriting is very big or a little untidy, you can leave gap in between so that it's easy on the eye for the examiner. Okay, that is something which you can do. Depends entirely on your handwriting size and how neat your handwriting is. Don't hit the examiner with a mass of words. Break it down into paragraphs so that's easier also always to read. So with this, we come to the end of the English language strategy for the first paper on the 27th of February 2023. I hope you found this useful, and I hope all of you managed to do this paper exceedingly well. Thank you very much for watching. I will follow with this another video on the English literature examination. Tata, bye bye.